back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Buhari pledges prompt action to rescue female students abducted from Government Science and Technical College, Dapchi, Yobe State, describes the incident as a national disaster. United Nations seeks change of strategy in addressing humanitarian crises in Nigeria's northeast region. International Press Institute seeks partnership with reputable broadcast organizations in Africa as its director visits Channels Television ahead of the Institute's World Congress holding in Nigeria in June. And United States plans further squeeze on North Korea, targets over 50 ships and firms in largest sanctions on the country. And just a quick reminder to you that for more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. And log on to m.channelstv.com to watch us on your mobile device, or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. Now we have some pictures to share with you. Let's take a look at them. But the first one is from Ndokwa West local government area of Delta State, showing the aftermath of a fire outbreak. Our Eyewitness reporter says the fire brought down all the stalls in a market in Kwale. He also says the reason for the outbreak is unknown. The next picture is from Agege local government area of Lagos State, showing a building marked for demolition. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is due to the planned construction of a railway terminal in the area. The residents are pleading with the federal government to move the project elsewhere. Let's end with this one, showing industrial liquid waste being discharged in Kano State. Our Eyewitness reporter says this is around the Sharada industrial area, and the pollution affects many neighboring communities, posing serious health challenges to the people living there. Do keep your pictures coming in, and thanks for the ones that you've sent in already. The United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Stuart Symington, has strongly condemned the abduction of the Dapchi schoolgirls by suspected Boko Haram insurgents. Mr. Symington describes the invasion of the schools and abduction of innocent students by the group as the height of desperation by terror organizations. But he's asking the Nigerian government to tackle poverty, illiteracy and underdevelopment at all levels first in order to defeat the insurgents. According to him, poverty, underdevelopment and lack of education are what breeds insecurity.
Every Nigerian and every American shares the extraordinary pain that the family of those children and those children themselves must be undergoing. It's hard to imagine. I've just been looking at pictures of the governor's children, and they made me think of my own. So the first thing is I'd like for everybody to put themselves in the place, either of the children or of their families, and pray together to whatever God they believe in, that people who claim to act under the guidance of God will in fact find the grace and the faith and the good necessary to see that these girls are quickly returned home to their families.
The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is advocating a change in strategy in tackling issues of the humanitarian crisis in the region. The officer in charge of the Humanitarian Office, Ms. Alba Bell, says new strategies should target people and communities affected by the insurgency so that they can have a life after the crisis. According to her, a total of 1.5 billion naira has been earmarked to provide assistance to those affected by the insurgency in the northeastern states of Borno, Yobe and Adamawa in 2018.
For over 6 years, Nigerians living in the northeastern state of Borno have suffered the effect of the insurgency, sacking many out of their homes and some fleeing to neighboring countries like Cameroon and Niger. In response, government and international organizations have continued to assist to make life better for those affected. This meeting, organized for civil society organizations in the Lake Chad Basin, is aimed at strengthening collaboration between international organizations and civil society organizations to help reduce sufferings of those affected through a more strategic approach.
How do we move towards stabilization and recovery, and how do we link up between the humanitarian and the development actors? And we're also working with some of the major banks like African Development Bank, the World Bank, who have a particular interest in supporting that transition.
With over 1 billion naira budgeted to address the humanitarian crisis, speakers at the event are of the view that there is need for adequate monitoring to ensure that those affected are catered for.
We want to see more of the grassroots civil society being mobilized into this system. And I must say that this partnership will help us bring the voice of the people clear in an inclusive manner in terms of not just planning the process, in terms of implementation and also monitoring and tracking.
We've all heard that so much money has been raised. Where is this money? Do we know what is happening to this money? Or has this money translated in any way or impacted in any way on the lives of these people that we seek to represent? So this is going to start the conversation around what our role is as civil society organization generally in ensuring that whatever funds that we seek for the affected population eventually gets to them.
The humanitarian crisis in the Northeast has continued to be a major concern for both the federal government and the international community, who have made several interventions to address the situation. Many look forward to see how the proposed strategy will help to address the situation.
To politics now, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief John Oyegun, has visited President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Chief Oyegun did not comment on his visit, as some of those who saw him said he walked briskly out of the villa. But his visit may not be unconnected with a letter written to him by one of the party leaders, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who accused him of sabotaging his reconciliation assignment in the party. Mr. Tinubu, in the letter written to Chief Oyegun, had copied the President, the Vice President, Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, saying, quote, "Disappointment greeted me when I discovered that you had swiftly acted in contravention of the spirit of our discussions. Instead of being a bulwark of support as promised, you positioned yourself in active opposition to the goal of resuscitating the progressive and democratic nature of the APC." End of quote. The former Lagos governor explains that the chairman of the party has personal issues with him and accused him of seeking to undermine his mandate by engaging in dictatorial tactics. Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Makwe Ogun Yusuf. Makwe?
Oh, hello, Ijoma. We're continuing here in Abuja with politics, as there seems to be no end in sight yet for the crisis rocking the Kaduna State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, as Governor El-Rufai has filed a suit at the State High Court seeking 500 million naira in damages on 4 defamation charges against Senator representing Kaduna Central Zone, Shehu Sani. Malam El-Rufai, who personally filed the suit, is seeking compensation for the injury he allegedly suffered as a result of the malicious statements by Senator Sani, who, according to him, reportedly called him a drunk, loose cannon and an embarrassment to President Muhammadu Buhari. Governor El-Rufai is also seeking a declaration that the derogatory remarks made against him by Senator Sani are totally false and injurious to his person in the eyes of the public. Counsel to the governor, Abdul Hakim Mustafa, explains that each of the 4 actions attracts a sum of 500 million each. He also dismisses insinuations that the governor, by virtue of his position, doesn't have the constitutional right to sue any citizen.
As a matter of fact, we filed 4 defamatory actions, and the governor is asking for damages, is asking for apologies, and as a man that believes in the rule of law, he has elected to come here over a period. The fact that the Constitution allows everybody to ascribe to any office that he qualifies for is not a license for people to post defamatory materials on perceived opponents. Over a period, the newspaper or the media industry has been awash with a lot of patently defamatory materials that has been posted by the distinguished senator against Madam El-Rufai. And as somebody that believes in rule of law, he felt that the right thing to do, instead of to employ himself up, is for him to approach the court and ventilate his anger.
Meanwhile, Senator Sani has been reacting to the lawsuit slammed on him by the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. Although he said he was yet to receive the notice of the lawsuit, Senator Sani, in a telephone interview with Channels Television, says he did not call the governor a drunk.
I can never have called him a drunk. It's not possible for me to do that. All my criticisms were limited to issues that have to do with governance and abuse of power. And it is very easy for anybody to Google such comments and see. And I can never recall saying that. But what I can fully assure you that whatever are his issues, we are prepared for him in any court of law. Well, in every of his life, he always hides behind President Muhammad Buhari. He's someone that doesn't like to fight his own battle. He always drags Buhari into his battle. But I can say in every sense of the word that all I have said are very clear, and all that I mean is about my own state. If he is a governor of a state, he should be ready to embrace criticism.
The International Press Institute will hold its World Congress in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, from June the 21st to the 23rd with the theme, Why Good Journalism? The Director General of the Institute, Barbara Triofni, says the Institute is exploring ways of partnering with reputable broadcasters in Africa with a view to improving interaction and content sharing for a better journalism experience. Triofni was speaking during her visit to the head office of Channels Television in Lagos, where she was received by the chairman of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo.
Those who cover Africa from all over the world feel the need to cover it in a more accurate and fair manner. And I think the API World Congress in Nigeria will offer that opportunity. We want to make sure that the leading voices from Nigeria and from the continent will be there to present their point of view about where Africa is going today and to exchange their opinions with leading editors and journalists from other countries. So we are looking at cover very diverse issues from, certainly there will be discussions about political developments. We're looking at countries in transitions in Africa. Where is this transition leading to? We're looking at challenges within the news industry. What are the challenges that today the news media is facing, and how can these can we find elsewhere solutions for the challenges that maybe the news industry is facing here and vice versa. So we're looking at issues related to hate speech, issues related to technology and news media, investigative journalism, if you want, the most important aspect of journalism. Where is it going? Is it dying? Can we support good investigative journalism in a country, even more so, that is looking at developing an agenda to fight corruption?
Director General of the International Press Institute, Barbara Triofni. Well, when the News at 10 returns, telecoms giant MTN prepares initial public offering in Ghana, keeps Nigeria in waiting. But that's on Business News. Join us again.